Hi guys, this is DNBTV and we are in London at the History of Drum and Bass, and with me is Mr. Switch. Hello Mr. Switch, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Quite tired. We've just set up, and it's always hectic at these shows. But yeah, doing good.
Are you ready for the show?
Yes, thankfully. We were in Ibiza yesterday doing our Ibiza show. So all the orchestra, 26 of us, have flown back to do this show. So we're doing really good. Quite busy, quite tired, but ready to go because the orchestra players love doing this show. We have an Ibiza show as well, but the drum and bass show is the one they all want to do.
If we could start from the beginning, how did this brilliant idea of merging two different styles come about?
Well, it kind of had its origins from I was DJing in the classical world. I did a piece called Concerto for Turntables and Orchestra, and I was the first DJ to perform on the BBC Proms, playing this piece by Gabriel Prokofiev, and that was a fusion of DJ and orchestra, and it was very much a classical kind of style. And then my agent at the time said, "Well, why don't you do DJ and orchestra, but for the dance floor for festivals and stuff?" Um, and the first person that came to mind for me was Miles Hancock, the conductor and composer, because he had done a piece with orchestra, DJ, and beatboxer, and I knew both the DJ and beatboxer, so he was on my radar. We were also both playing in different groups in Nottingham, where I went to university. So we met up and we threw together a set really quickly to get like 40 minutes of stuff, really, really rushed. And we played our first show in Boomtown in 2015. And it was a real spread of styles at that point. So we were doing breakbeats, some drum and bass, some hip hop, jungle, house, like everything, just to like see where the project would go. And now we're doing different sets. We're doing a history of drum and bass. As I said, we have an Ibiza show as well, and we've just started doing a history of trance as well. So it's really fun to see where the orchestra can take things.
Lovely. Speaking of the proms, I know that in 2011 you were the first DJ who broke the barrier
Yes.
between the classical music and DJing. So how did it feel, and did you have any obstacles along the way?
It felt good. I was very lucky and proud that it happened. So I was DJing with the National Youth Orchestra of Great Britain. It wasn't my first time playing the piece. I've been playing it for 2 years by that point, so I was already familiar with it. And the orchestra invited me on the tour, and it just so happens their last day of the tour was the proms. So it wasn't quite so planned as like we're going to put the first DJ on the proms, but it kind of evolved quite naturally. Um, and yeah, it was a real pleasure and honor because I think the Proms has been going 114 years by that point, so a very long time. So to be the first person to break that barrier was a real honor, and especially the way things have gone now for guys like Pete Tong, and it's really opened. Yeah, also kind of shattered the conception that DJs can't be musicians, which I think certainly in the classical world there was definitely a little bit of resistance, but like as things have gone on, it's opened up more and more.
What's the relationship? I go to proms quite often. I try to go every single year. And what's the chemistry between you as the DJ and the composer? And how do you communicate with each other? If you do communicate, I guess you do.
Yes, yeah. So we talk a lot. A lot of it goes from the conception of the show. So we talk a lot about which tracks we're going to do. And Mars is an amazing composer, and the spin he puts on things. I go back to the original track, and I'm really surprised that something the brass will play isn't actually in the original because he adds so many details. So he'll write the track, and then we get into notes. I suggest things I would like to put in, some structural things, and I tend to kind of view it a bit more as like a DJ set. So I tend to suggest that the tracks we do are very fast paced. It's like a DJ set in some ways. You're really like flying through tracks really quickly to keep the energy up and give all these different flavors.
Do you have to compromise any of those styles?
A little bit, yeah. I think I push Miles a bit too much sometimes, but yeah, we get on really well. It's kind of hard to say, but especially because actually the orchestra is going to have its 10th birthday next year. So by this point we've got quite a good, we can see round each other and we have quite a good working relationship and communication. Yeah, the compromise, I don't know. It's like a lot of it comes from the initial idea, because it really has to be a track that warrants inclusion, because there can be quite a few tracks that people say, "Oh, you're doing the history of drum and bass, you should do this track," and there's not quite enough in there to give to the orchestra. You want to give them something juicy to do, and especially because the DJ part does a lot. So we have a synth player who does a lot of the bass lines. Sometimes the bass will be from me. We have a double bass player as well. So that can be one of the challenges with the orchestra, is who's playing the bass. And then other than that, all the drums come from me, so we don't have a drummer. And the really nice thing about that is going into the original tracks and finding all the original breakbeats, or the same, or like a remastered version of that beat. So you can really get quite close to the original track, but then it's like it's remastered because you have the orchestra playing all these parts. Yeah.
And if you could have a look in the future, where would you like to see this group? And do you think that we are gonna see more of those collaborations together in the future? Or
I hope so. There have been some amazing collaborations. I remember being really struck by Camo and Crooked collaborating with Red Bull Symphonic, and that was really impressive. I guess I'd like for us to really, because we've dabbled a little bit at creating our own tracks, and we might play one or two tonight. So yeah, I guess I'd love to sort of go into some more original things as well, which we sneak in as well. But also, like, I'm really spoiled with this show because, like, Miles and I have picked the tracks, and I'm just like, I want to play this, I want to play this, and we do it. So I'm really, really being spoiled. They've, like, somehow I've ended up with an orchestra, and yeah, we just had the best time.
and what can we see next?
The drum bass show, this is in its 4th year, so I think going forward we're gonna get some new material. We also have our trance show, and I think we're running our Ibiza show for a 5th year next year. So it's full pace, and yeah, just more things.
And last question: has any preparation for Christmas started?
Oh, Christmas drum and bass. What tunes?
Do you have any time for your Christmas preparation?
I think we've got this tour, and then I'm going to have a long sleep. I'm still recovering from Ibiza yesterday.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So Christmas will just be very nice. I mean, I'm going to go skiing on Christmas, and then the orchestra are like, oh, can we go skiing? So yeah, Christmas is going to be really fun.
Great. So I think that's it, guys. Thank you very much for your time. I can only imagine how busy you must be before the show. So good luck, and thank you ever so much. Cheers.
Cheers.